It's 2 a.m., you're asleep, and a potential client's basement pipe just burst. When you don't answer, they immediately move to the next listing. By the time you wake up at 8 a.m., that $1,000 emergency job belongs to your competitor. For small businesses, customer service is the primary way you compete with national chains. But providing 24/7 human staffing is mathematically impossible for most local margins. You're usually left with two flawed options: a cheap cloud chatbot that loops through irrelevant menus, or an expensive outsourced call center that drains your monthly profits. The gap between a customer's middle-of-the-night emergency and your morning office hours is where sales are lost and client trust dies. The askingAi AI Agent Mini PC offers a different path. It is a $499 piece of dedicated hardware designed to automate that round-the-clock support directly from your office. This moves your support costs from an ongoing monthly expense to a one-time hardware purchase, shifting the financial burden from a service fee to a physical asset. This table compares the two models side by side. Traditional support limits uptime to office hours and sends data to the public cloud, while this local gateway runs continuously, keeps all logs on your private machine, and caps space costs at $500. The question is whether this box provides a genuine operational solution, or if it's just a glorified chatbot that will leave your customers frustrated. To find out, we need to look past the marketing claims and track the exact 5 workflows the agent uses to process an inquiry while you sleep. Let's follow a customer who submits a question at 2 a.m. while your office is empty. The hardware gateway acts as a central hub for workflow 5, pulling web chat, emails, and forms into one queue. For routine questions, Workflow 1 pulls answers from your company PDFs. But if those manuals are outdated, the AI confidently delivers wrong answers. Workflow 1 solves immediate customer anxiety, but only if your internal documentation is perfectly organized before you plug the machine in. But what happens when that 2 a.m. message isn't a simple question, but an actual crisis or a complex request? For standard non-emergency emails, Workflow 2 handles intelligent ticket triage, categorizing them into morning queues like billing or sales. But if it detects critical keywords like urgent leak, Workflow 3 immediately sends an SMS alert to on-call staff. This protects your revenue by ensuring you only wake up for high-value emergencies, rather than minor issues that can wait until the morning. The risk is a false positive. If a customer uses urgent for a routine appointment, your staff gets an unnecessary 3 a.m. wake-up call. This escalation system successfully captures high-value jobs while you sleep, but it requires you to refine your keyword triggers over time to be effective. Now, consider those complex, non-emergency tickets waiting in your morning queue. During the night, the agent executes Workflow 4, draft response preparation. It cross-references your knowledge base to write complete, polite replies to those difficult inquiries. This follows a human-in-the-loop model. The AI does not send these complex replies automatically. Instead, it holds them for your team to review. This changes the morning routine for your staff. Instead of spending hours typing out replies, they spend their time as editors, reviewing and approving pre-written drafts in one click. This drafting workflow removes the manual typing burden while ensuring a human always checks the final nuance before a message reaches the client. To decide if this 5-stage funnel is right for your business, we have to look at the specific return on investment. One primary benefit of the local machine is data security. Because it's your hardware, your proprietary pricing and client data are never used to train public cloud models. This scorecard shows where the fit is strongest. High-volume e-commerce and home services, like HVAC or plumbing, can recoup the $499 cost with just 1 or 2 nighttime tickets resolved or captured. Conversely, bespoke B2B consulting or high-empathy medical intake often requires more nuance than a rigid AI can provide. In those cases, the agent's strict adherence to documentation might frustrate your clients. This hardware acts as a rigid triage nurse, prioritizing speed and logic over human nuance. It costs pennies on the dollar, but it cannot replace a personal relationship manager. If the ROI makes sense, there is one final hurdle before you plug in the hardware. The expanded scorecard lists 2 prerequisites. You need a documented knowledge base to feed the agent, and a staff culture that is ready to edit drafts rather than write from scratch. The agent is only as helpful as the specific policies and pricing guides you provide. If you are willing to do that prep work, a $499 investment provides the responsiveness of an enterprise support team without the massive overhead of a night shift. Skip the hardware if you aren't ready to organize your internal data. But if your documentation is ready, this system bridges the after-hours support gap for good.